Hey, everybody, and welcome to our next episode of Game Night, Date Night, and we are on episode 13. So, yeah, that's exciting. 13. Now, Game Night, Date Night is in collaboration with Games and Couples. And Games and Couples do amazing thing doing couples counseling, utilizing board game as a main tool to help couples come together. And one of the things that they've created is they've done a rating system that helps couple decide which games would suit their current need. Now, keep in mind in this rating system, 1 is not bad and 5 is not good. It just depends on where you are as a couple. So the 3 things that it rates on is conversation and connection potential. So some games are very involved. There's a lot going on. There's a story that's getting developed, and that might not allow a whole lot of time to catch up and have a conversation while you're playing games, while other games have a much higher rating in that. And as you're kind of playing the game, it does allow for a lot of conversation to take place. The next one is in the getting to know you. So some games will reveal a lot about your partners, while some others it's more like you do your thing, I do my thing, and there's very little learning from each other. But depending on where you are, maybe you guys have been in a relationship a long time and it's not something that's a big concern, or maybe you become empty nesters and you have kind of fallen out of knowing who or how to spend time with your spouse, and this is something that's a little bit more important for you. And the last thing is potential for hurt feelings and conflict. Let's face it, in a board game setting, we're normally thriving to get one winner, one loser, and depending on how you come to that, it might be opportunity for take that, or so for hurt feelings to happen. And depending on where you are, maybe things are a little tense and flares up easily, so you'd look for a lower rating here. Or maybe you are looking at working on conflict resolution, and this would be a great controlled environment to do that in. So every week we've been talking about a different game for the game of the week on the Games and Couples both Facebook and Instagram. So you might have seen those there already. But this week or this month I've concentrated on games that you play multiple times. Kind of once you finish it, be like, okay, again. And so the games that tend to be games you would want to play many times in a row. So let's have a look at that. The first one this month was Quarto. Quarto is a gorgeous game. So it has all these big, chunky wooden bits. And the goal of the game is kind of an advanced tic-tac-toe. The role of the game is you're trying to get a row of 4 I don't know what they're called, big pegs, I guess. So 4 pegs in a row that have all the same attributes. So either 4 tall ones, 4 short ones, all circle ones, or square ones, or all light ones, or all dark ones, or all the ones that have a hole inside, or all some that are solid. And what's really interesting in this game is you don't pick the piece you're going to put out. The partner hands it to you, and then you add it to the board. And then you're going to pick their piece that they're going to add to the board. So you're keeping an eye, trying to give them things that might not set them up for completing a row of 4. But then they're doing the same thing but there's also like, am I going to kind of sabotage this row so that it can't be turned into a row of 4 because I don't want them to do it, but then you're kind of blocking yourself as well. Interesting decision in this one. Now let's have a quick look at the rating on here. So conversation and connection potential, I'm giving this one a 4 out of 5. This is like a simple grab a piece, hand it to you, you do it, and then you're looking, but the strategy is fairly simple. So I think this game would allow for a lot of conversation to take place. Getting to know you, I'm putting this one a 3 out of 5. It's interesting to see, are they going to see what piece like you see that would be helpful? Are they going to hand that to you? Are they not? How do they handle? Are they going to sabotage themselves, or then are they going to knowingly give you something that might help or not realize? So there's a little bit of how they're going to react to some of the decisions being made. Can be a little bit revealing, but otherwise not more than that, right? For hurt feelings and conflict, I'm going to give this one a 2 out of 5. There's not that many opportunities to create conflict, but it's like, okay, I really need a circle one and they give you a square one. Is that going to be a bother? It's a gorgeous, gorgeous game. Like, this is one that you could set up on your coffee table as a decorative piece and just leave it set up. And then anytime you kind of feel like it, okay, let's play this one real quick. Beautiful game, Quarto. The second week, we talked about Crokinole. Now, this is an old game, and it's been around for a long time and invented in Canada. So you might have played this one in your childhood. For me, I didn't. I didn't come across this until recently. I actually bought my Crokinole board in a yard sale just last month. So it's a little beat up. It's been well loved. But if you're gonna buy a brand new board, like, you're looking at around $2 to more $100. So it's an investment. Definitely, you want to make sure that you enjoy the game. Also, it doesn't store well. This isn't something that you can fold away. It's a big wooden board that's always going to be a big wooden board, and it's not easy to put away. A lot of people I know mount it on their wall, and that's what we've done as well. But this game is great. You have disc. Each player has disc, and when there's no disc on the table, you try to flick your disc so that it lands in the middle circle. Now, if you go too far or not far enough, it just gets removed. So if there's only your own disc on the table, this is still the same goal. Now, if both players have disc on the table, then you need to hit their token and then try to get, like, so that you can ricochet and get your token into as close to the inner circle as you can. It might not always be possible. If you don't hit their disc and you hit your own disc, then those come out. So if you've hit your own, not theirs, by accident, you lose your own disc. So it can be frustrating. I suck at this game. We have played this game over a dozen times now. And like I said, I bought it just last month, and I have won 0 time, not a single time. Lee beats me every time. He is undefeated. It's terrible. There are times where I'm getting a little closer, but I mean, it's not. There's no challenge. There's no challenge there for him. So every time we play, it's like, okay, one more time. Okay, best out of 5. I just lose all the time. But it's a great game. So let's look at the rating. Conversation, connection, potential. I'm giving this one a 5 out of 5. As you're flicking, you can totally have a conversation. Getting to know you. I'm giving this one a 3 out of 5. You will have frustrating flicks that just didn't do what you want, and then how is your partner going to react to that? Or when they have a really good one, are they taunting you? I was like, oh, in your face. Or, it can be a little revealing on your partner's personality for sure. Hurt feelings and conflict. I'm giving this one a 3 out of 5. It is really frustrating when you finally get your disc in the middle circle and you just flick it out, which is the goal of the game. They have to flick your disc, but this is a better picture of the board, kind of shows. But yeah, so Crokinole is a great game. I really enjoy it. You just got to make sure that you have the space to commit to owning a board like this. The next game we talked about this month was Can't Stop. Can't Stop is a really neat dice rolling push your luck game. I purchased this one a few months ago. I was really impressed. This is one that I heard of a lot, and I was very curious to try. And it's definitely one that's like, after you play, it's like, okay, let's do it again. Now let's look at the rating real quick. So conversation, connection, potential, 5 out of 5. This is very simple strategies. You roll the dice. When you roll the dice, you have to decide if you're going to take the value of each dice or combine it together and take the combined value. Now, you can only advance on 3 tracks at a time when you're on your turn. So then afterwards, you have to decide, are you going to roll again and hope that not more than those 3 are going to be activated? Or if you only have the 1, then be like, okay, well, there's still room to go. So you would kind of still push your luck a little bit. At some point, it's like, okay, well, I've got a 2 activated, I've got a 6 activated, I have an 8 activated. So you would roll the dice, and if you roll like a 5 and a 6, well, you could move on the 6, but then the 5 you can't, so if you ever are unable to use your dice, you would bust, and then you don't get to move any of your token forward because you have the little 3 marker tokens, what you kind of calculate what you're going to be doing. Now, if you like, okay, I'm going to stop right here, then you move the tokens to where your marker is, the marker comes off, and then you've gained that move. If you ever reach the last row, and I'll show you a little bit of a better picture here. So if you ever reach the last row, you've gained that row. Anything on that row gets removed, but then you can no longer roll that number either, so it makes the game tighter. Very neat game. So that was the conversation, connection, potential. It's fairly straightforward, so there's a lot of opportunity to have a conversation. Getting to know you, I'm giving this one a 3 out of 5. Again, how does your partner react when they roll the dice and they can't go any further? Or are they like to push your luck? Or they were like, okay, I think I'm going to keep going. It's like, oh my God, are you sure? So you just have those people that gotta go, try to go big or go home, right? So so it can be a little bit revealing on how your partner's personality can be. Hurt feelings and conflict, 2 out of 5. There's not a whole lot that they can do that'll mess you up until they win the one row and remove all the things. And it could be that was your best row and you were hoping to gain it, and then they've claimed it for themselves, and you lose all that progress you had built up, and now you got to concentrate on the rows that weren't doing so good. It's just such a neat game, very interesting, and it looks cool on the table as well. And then the next one is Click Clack Lumberjack. Honestly, I think Click Clack Lumberjack might have been meant to be a kid's game. I have never played this game with a younger child. It's always been with my teenage kids or my partner. And we've played this one a lot. It's one that hits the table often. It's just so satisfying to play. This is Jenga next level. So you have all these rows, and you have in the middle the trunk. And on the trunk, you'll have four bark that are kind of connected to it. Now, if it ever shifts, the bark comes out, it slides out very easy. So you have the trunk with the 4 bark, and you have all the different level of that. Then you have a little plastic axe, and on your turn, you get to hit the tree twice. And the goal is you're trying to knock off the bark, but not the trunk. So for every bark that gets knocked down, that's going to be 1 point. If you accidentally knock out the trunk part, that's negative 5 points. So you're trying to avoid those, get just a bark. Now, conversation, connection, potential, 5 out of 5. This is a very simple game. You can totally hold a conversation while you are playing this game. Now, you might get into like in the nerve-wracking of is it going to teeter or not, but yeah, you can definitely hold a conversation while playing this game. For the getting to know you, I'm giving this one a 2 out of 5. This is a very simple game. There's not like there's a whole lot of strategy. It's just, kind of give it a hit, and is it going to go, is it not going to go? And then for hurt feelings and conflict, I'm giving this one a 1 out of 5. They can kind of set you up where you're forced to kind of push the core, so the tree part back into the middle because it's teetering a little bit. But other than that, there's really, like you're messing yourself up. It's not the other player that's going to be doing it for you. So here's another picture of the Click Clack Lumberjack while we're playing. And you can see all the bark in front of me that I had collected so far. Now you'll see some of them gets a sticker of a grub, and that allows it to hit it an extra time. And it also gives you an extra point in the final scoring. So that was it for the games that we had discussed this month. Be sure to follow us on Instagram, Mel's_boardgame_room, as well as Games and Couples. And then we're also on Facebook at Mel's Board Game Room and Games and Couple Love in the Age of Board Game. And the YouTube channel is Mel's Board Game Room and Games and Couple Love in the Age of Board Game. So that was it for this month. Be sure to tune in next month to see which game we're going to be talking about next month. Bye, everybody.